Okay. Stream should be good. Should be live. Should be getting things going. Should all be set up, but we will see. We will see how things are going. 1 second. I don't know why Streamlabs decided to change its format because now for some reason the screen is really tiny in one of the boxes and I have a big like format picture telling me things. There we go. I clicked the wrong thing. That's why. So let's get to the stream itself. Let me post out some links as they do. I was gonna play Code Vein while I did this stream, but I got a copyright claim from freaking Bandai. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I should have like completely voided out audio and it was just me talking, but I figured people would want to hear it. But I guess that's too much for them. I guess me playing a video game, they want whatever like couple quarters I get from it. Anyway, what's up, Jared Punch, Robert Flores? How's it going? How are you guys today? Megicula. I don't know. I haven't seen anything about it yet, but I haven't researched. I'm sure some people have. I've been really busy the last few days, but there is curiosity in there because Tabana likes to lay breadcrumbs around for people to find. He likes to completely just get everyone, on that interest note, just to see something is there, not sure if it is there, and then once something finally goes down, you go back and see it, and it all makes so much more sense given the information. But as it is right now, we'll get a chapter soon. Luckily for us, though, when it comes to Tabata, he doesn't take a lot of breaks, so we will get hopefully at a good precedented time information on this demon. We're not going to get some unfortunate drag out, never returning to the story portion. 1 second, let me just post up on the old Twitter. We'll post up on the old Twitter, and we can talk about everything coming into this week. We can talk about the series. We're getting closer to things like Heroes. We're getting closer to some crazier stuff and stuff like Eden Zero. I'm pretty stoked to see just like what exactly like transpires in the next couple weeks. Like these next couple weeks are gonna be really thick. Like we've got a lot of stuff coming up on a lot of the content I like to talk about. We're getting out of the flashback arc for Jujutsu Kaisen. We just got some new ominous chick and Chainsaw Man. Black Clover obviously is starting to explore more with demons, which is going to be really cool. We actually got one with a name finally. Obviously Fairy Tail, we're about to get to not only a big Dragon Slayer, Battle Royale kind of thing, but we're also about to have this series go weekly while Heroes giant crossover series drops, which also is just going to be so much fun going into. Anyway, hey, what's up, MK the Hedgehog? How's it going? Wait, oh yeah, I privated that stream from last night. It was annoying. I mean, I woke up and it was like, hey, your Code Vein stream got a copyright claim, and I was annoyed because I thought it was like because there's a difference between a claim and a strike, and I really didn't want to have to deal with another strike because I just got off like some bullshit copyright strike from like last month, and it was just a copyright claim. So I said, screw it. I guess they don't. If they want the probably like nickel that I made off of that, then go for it, whatever. But whatever. Mora beat the shit out of Kurnai. I don't know if she will. I mean, I don't think she's gonna like beat her up while she's down. She would have to get in a fight with her. I don't think that Homura would be one to just kind of like beat somebody helpless even while mad. Doesn't seem like her character. I mean, I could be wrong. I mean, she still has room to grow, but as she is, there's always a possibility for her maybe go down them darker stuff. Demon Theorist. I'm sure there's some form of like character that this is in reference to somehow. Megicula. The only thing that I've taken note just going at it is because you can see like the style of hair going off of this one. You see that kind of like shadowy, decaying hair right there is a little bit like at that shoulder length. I predict that Megicula is female. I mean, and the only other thing like I have going off of that is because it like involves Dwell's mom. I'm just guessing it had to do with the female demon. I don't know. And if it had something to do with, her ability to like have kids or something, like shortens lifespan or something. A lot of the time, whenever I see inside of like in mythology, all the demons that like mess with kids are always female ones. Always like some like Lilith or whatever. Lots of mean people. Yeah, that wife with some lovely boobs. She's good stuff. Hi, bro. Shout out, please. Check out Jay Prakash Narim Sharma. I don't know if I've ever talked to you before, but I will give you a shout out. And the stream is it's going a little slow. And all these random ones. Like I had some pretty fun though yesterday playing Code Vein. I was excited to see it go on again, but I don't want to do with Bandai Namco again. But there's some questions coming up with this arc because it looks like we might be going to the Spade Kingdom, and it'll be a little bit weird going to the Spade Kingdom before dealing with the Diamond and the Heart because obviously the Spade Kingdom seems to be the biggest deal of them. I still have the theory that the Heart Kingdom is going to be the most dangerous out of the three. But we also don't know what lies beyond them. We don't know what lies beyond the Spade Kingdom. We don't know anything about the other continents. Obviously, there's a whole world out there. Everything that we've seen in Black Clover so far is really just confined into the Clover Kingdom in general. And really, when you think about it, and I say like there's a whole world out there, there's also at least one other entire dimension. So there's a lot more out there for the upcoming Black Clover than possibly thought prior. Like even before this arc, we got opened up with so many like crazy things added on to the story that it's going to be a really fun ride of seeing what Tabata's got planned, because obviously he's got a lot of crazy stuff just looming in the shadows. I mean, literally looming. Like here we had Dorothy just like saying how like the demons are all around the shadows of the world. We don't know who is gonna be like manipulated by a demon. We don't know who is gonna be influenced at some point. The only thing we do know, like that was really cool. Probably one of my favorite parts coming out of the Elf Resurrection arc is we know that there could be more Black Clovers out there in the world, more Black Clover grimoires, or whatever the equivalent is of other kingdoms. I assume that the Diamond Kingdom has some form of equivalent to a Black Clover grimoire, because otherwise it'd be like, why aren't there more demons just in the Clover Kingdom? Why would they ever mess with any of the other ones, What's up, Shadowhawk1234? How's it going, man? Spells and traps in Yume's deck based on anime things and references, like an equipped card goes a Taco Slayer sword. If a monster equipped it destroys it, negates and destroys spells and traps. He can add some form. He needs to have some battle traps, some more protection there. Bro, I'm from India. I think you heard my country's name. One of my friends, he's like Indian Japanese. He just went to India recently. I want to go at some point. I feel like I would have fun, and there's a lot of stuff to partake in. I would really like to try a lot of the food. Like I like curry. That's like the only Indian food I know. It's like curry. Yeah, curry stems from India, right? But my like level is like my level of like ramen, where it's like like instant like cheap ramen. I'd like nicer ones. I'd like to try like actual versions like made in the country itself. I always get nervous though, because obviously like going into foreign lands can get dangerous and risky, and I get paranoid about that stuff. But at some point maybe I'll go. What's up, JK Network? How's it going? Sporting that nice Eden Zero logo as an avatar. Nice. Cyber's data is based on Shenron. Oh, Shenron? What kind of thing does it do then? What does it do? Good to know more stuff about the Silva family. Yeah, we still haven't figured out, like, any information on the dad, like, if he's important or anything, or if he's literally just, some dude. Who knows? But that aspect I am intrigued to see, like, what is his role in all this? Because he can't just be some irrelevant character. He's got to have something special about him. At least something, like, even if he's not powerful, maybe just have, like, certain information, like, maybe from the events that happened with Aesir, maybe he knows a lot about demons because he's been researching things. Obviously with the fact that the curse, if you talk about it, it will, like, curse you as well. So maybe he's been looking into, like, ways to deal with the curse so his children don't get, swept up in the possibility of it. It's because, like, I imagine even with Aesir's death, the thing that would, like, be worse for her is if something happened to her kids. That would probably, at least from what I can imagine, and obviously, that's a way different world than I could think of as some crazy battle mom, but probably would, if her conviction is towards children. So obviously, if something bad happened to them, that'd probably be way worse in her mind than anything happening to her. And that was Precious. I wonder what she's going to do in the manga. So I'm curious to know what the author is doing, because I don't know whether or not she plans to keep the manga going, thanks to the popularity of Kimetsu no Yaiba's anime.
and how much it's increased sales. But I don't know. I don't know if she plans on going further from this or if she just plans on ending the series within this arc. Some people speculate it, but I don't know. I wanted to go more because there's a lot of untapped potential. Something like Bleach, where you have like all this, you really when you get down to like something like Bleach and you realize all of it's happening in one area, and it's not like a fictional world where everything is made up like from scratch. It's the thing about the Bleach world is it takes place in real world Earth, but in a fictional version. Same thing with Kimetsu no Yaiba. So, what happens in what happens in other countries? What's going on with the demons over there? I don't know. Nozzle hugging Noel. Precious and pretty damn hilarious. I'm curious to know what he thinks about it like on a normal basis because he's much more of like on the job kind of guy. Since there's a ghost dragon here, you think we'll get a corpse dragon eater, like one that eats dead things and manipulates the dead. Well, that's what Scoleon's official translation is he's a corpse dragon slayer. And I was wondering, like, if the possibility the two are related. Like, imagine if they were originally one dragon slayer, and they died, and then they split between ghost and corpse. I think that would be a really cool thing to kind of add, just give, like, a general little boost about the characters in general. Like, did I say in general twice? But you know what I mean. Just that, like, really intriguing thing about them. And then maybe the characters, it's like, well, the way that, even though they're so powerful, the only way that they can reach their maximum, like, level is if they merge back. Something like that would be really sick. Asta's parents. I'm hoping Asta sticks to being, like, pretty much a nobody. I don't want him to be of any special descent. I don't want him to be of any, like, special bloodline. I would prefer if Asta sticked with the story that he is just some peasant. He's just some random nobody, and it wasn't his lineage. It wasn't like being of some special prophecy. It was him and his like conviction and his strong will, the support of people around him. Well, support, quote unquote, a level of support from like everyone at the orphanage, and just Asta's strong will and hard work is really what put him where he's at. And I don't like the idea of like him having some special bloodline or prophecy because like that was one of the things that really bugged me about Endgame Naruto is then it was like, well, was he ever really the underdog then? I mean, obviously you can have a series where the main character, has some special background, but then if you make him out to be some like underdog that's all about hard work and overcoming natural talent, then it's ruined if the character has some form of special talent or like stuff like that. Now that Weiss is Arsenal armor, it's definitely be cool if they team up Clash with Great and Musica now. I would like to see what exactly their kind of group up is going to be. They're probably one of my more intriguing kind of like team ups that's going to happen within Heroes, just because like they have such conflicting personalities, especially Wise, and probably like seeing them try and work with Gray, and Gray's just going to be like Mr. Cool Guy. The Arsenal suit though is really sick. I do like it a lot. I was very happy to see it in function. I think a lot of people predicted it to kind of like turn out like that, but it was one of those. Again, it was one of those things that you saw coming, but you were so excited to see it happen just because you love the idea of it. It was a lot of fun. Talk of Wukong is based on Goku. Well, Goku's based on Sun Wukong, isn't he? So you're running a Taku deck. Okay, I get you. Do you think Asta will get back the Demon Dweller sword? Did he? I'm trying to think if he got it back. I think he got it back near the end of the arc. I'd have to go look. I assume he got it back. It would really suck if he didn't have his sword anymore. It's probably the most useful one. The only one that I could think may be more useful at the moment is the Demon Slaying Sword because it has the black divider. But really, like the Demon Dweller sword has so much like use to it, and it would really suck if Asa just lost complete possession of it. Bro, I have to tell you something. Recently, anime popular in my country since 2017. And bro, please give me a little message to my friends on why you should watch anime, specifically shonen animes. Well, the thing about anime that I think a lot of people overlook is a lot of people when they think about anime and think about it from outside, like they're not somebody who partakes in anime or manga. There's the fact that it's very thought to be generalized, but really anime is just a type of animation. It's just Japanese animation. and it crosses over multiple genres and multiple platforms. So it's not, it'd be like saying, I don't know, just like an animated show. It's like you can have something that's like completely like friendly to all ages, and then you can have something like Berserk, which is like some super dark series. With Shonen though, one of the things I really like about shonen is some of the storytelling, because there's always going to be things in shonen that you'll find in another shonen. Like a lot of the main characters, a lot of them are very friendly. They care about friendship and stuff. Tournament arcs, some of the normal tropes. What I like is is when you take a similar kind of idea, but you have an author tell it in a different way. That's one of the things I think tournament arcs are really fun for, because a tournament arc, really, it's not like you're gonna have some like brand new groundbreaking aspect to it. You can add some like larger scale like background like stuff and events happening, as something like the Grand Magic Games in Fairy Tail, where you had all this stuff going on with the kingdom and their like whole plan with the Eclipse Gate. But for a lot of it, that a tournament, characters are gonna fight, they're gonna compete, they're gonna get in some like big debacle, and it's just one of those like base kind of like things that people enjoy. But I think that shonens do a really good job at telling like aspects about characters, like something like, again, Asta. Asta is somebody who had like everyone like completely didn't hold any confidence for in his dreams, and no matter what other people said to him, he wanted to keep striving, he wanted to keep pushing forward, he wanted to keep his head up and chest out and just keep moving. He wasn't going to quit until there was no possibilities. I mean, even at that point, he would probably still keep trying and figure out what exactly he could do to fix it. Like there's a lot of like nice things you can relate to in shonen as well, and that's like one of the fun aspects about it that I always enjoy. Like I relate to a lot of characters. I enjoy a lot of the fun stories, characters evolving, them going down their own paths and becoming more of who they are. It's just all around like a fun story. I mean, you could say that about a lot of different genres and a lot of different series, but I think because shonen is so widespread, I mean, it'd be like something like superhero comics back when they were much better than they are currently. But it doesn't matter if they're like, oh yeah, these guys in costumes are fighting crime. They have stories to tell. They have lives about them. You can really kind of like resonate with things that they go through, and that can really affect somebody just from a reading standpoint or a personal standpoint. Maybe there's something in your past or something you're experiencing now that you can kind of like hook up to it and see how it goes. Homura and Urza can talk to each other about having shitty moms. I mean, Irene, here's the thing about Irene versus Kurenai. As it is now, Kurenai is just straight like a bad person. Irene did obviously have bad aspects to her, but she did make sure that she got Urza away from her when she was, still stable enough to, not try and murder her. I mean, that's like a big thing about her that I think a lot of people overlook. Is obviously she was bad, but there were some good aspects about her. Kurenai's just a bad person. Now let's just kind of leave that as it is. Naruto was never an underdog. Asta was. Naruto was an underdog at the start. There were a lot of underdog aspects to him, but then they kind of like, retconned it. It was like Naruto was like a child of a prophecy, which didn't ruin Naruto's story, but it did hurt. Like, it really hurt that aspect of the whole underdog thing. Good afternoon. Asta got all 3 swords. I had to go back and look. Because he's saying that, but I'm trying to remember like a point where he's shown the Demon Dweller sword since then. I doubt he lost it. Like, I really doubt Asta just lost the sword, and he's only got 2 swords now. But I don't know. I would like if Asta lost the sword, then I would hope that we would see some way of him to make a sword. Like, say Asta got his own sword, and he had to imbue it with anti-magic, and then it eventually became like its own thing. I don't know, something like that. Like, imagine that kind of like actually, like the process of it being forged from a standard plain sword into some form of enchanted anti-magic blade. Yeah, I'll double check later, Biggie, but I'm trying to remember off the top of my head specifically if he's just shown to have the sword since then. I imagine that he has it. I doubt Tabata would take it away from him. Also, really quick, I'd appreciate it, anybody, if you would, thumbs up the stream. And, like it and see if anybody else, wants to come hang out, talk about Black Clover. Or not just Black Clover. You can ask any series you want, whether I read it or follow it, or if you just wanted to see if, I had an opinion on something you were wondering. Go ahead. These are much more community streams. They're much more conversation between anybody who shows up and just wants to hang out. than just, me talking about one series. And before anyone makes fun of me for it, I did hopefully get Streamlabs set up. So if I end up getting a super chat this week, it won't just be that running zombie. It'll be something cooler that I set up. You will see. I even gave it its own sound effect. So I'm just telling you right now. And I'm not going to spoil it. But if you want to see what this crazy sound effect is, you have to, you can donate $1. It'll show up and you'll figure out what I mean. All donations are appreciated. Not required, but do appreciate. Anyway, Lurk gave him back the sword before his spirit left the kingdom. See, yeah, I remember him talking to him when Asta tried to give the grimoire back. I couldn't remember if Asta physically had the sword in his hand, but I assumed he had it back. But thanks though, I appreciate it. Good stuff. How do you feel about Ichigo as an underdog compared to Naruto and Asta? Ichigo is not an underdog. I mean, I love Ichigo, but he's not. He was looked down upon not because he was an underdog. He was looked down upon because he was a Ryoka and he wasn't from the Soul Society. Just imagine Black Clover commencing on a Yaba animation. Man, I wish so bad that. Do you imagine so many of those scenes, so many awesome stuff? I mean, I'm not gonna complain. They've done a lot of really nice things. So I can't be like, oh God, I hate the studio, but at the same time, I appreciate the work that they've done, and it could be worse. That's just the thing. It could be worse. We could have Berserk's animation or Kingdom's animation where they just completely make everything look abysmally sad, because those animations just are unfortunate. You think Asta is in the Devil Bloodline? I hope not. Like I said, I don't want Asta to have any special traits to him, from his past. I want all of Asta's accomplishments to stem from him. I would like it if it was built up like Asta, is finding out about his family, and it's no, they were nobody. You are, everything you've done is not from your bloodline. It's because of you and what you, all the hard work that you've put into this. Thought in the manga he lost his sword. He had it taken away. I don't think he ever fully lost it. I don't think Asta ever fully lost possession of the sword permanently. Cyber's Data Link Dragon has many similarities and differences to Utopia, On Eyes, and Firewall Dragon. I would make my ace a fusion monster. I always liked fusions. I think the demon is from the Heart Kingdom. The one from are you talking about Megicula? I just want to see some information about it. Obviously we're gonna get it next week because the information on it dropped, but I don't know, the Heart Kingdom is so mysterious. It would be kind of weird for us to get so little information on it if they've been there, and it would probably is some place that you can't really go to normally. The Clover Kingdom probably has never been there directly. Probably have messengers or something. You meet a checkpoint and then they'd be hey, information trade off. Let's do this. Let's go. Thoughts on the new Pokemon movie coming out? I didn't see there was a new movie. What's the new movie? I've been trying to avoid Pokemon spoilers because I like to go into the games very fresh. I like the funnest thing about Pokemon to me is when you walk into a bush and you have no idea what you're gonna find, and then you see a Pokemon that you've never seen before. I've done that for all the games. I always get spoiled on some Pokemon going into it, but I really like just wandering into a bush and then it's and then you just hey, it's some, I don't know, some quail Pokemon. It's a four-winged squirrel. What is this? Something ridiculous. We still don't know whom left Asta and Yuno at Hage Village. I was laughing because you wrote Juno and Sage Village. I mean, you're going off of old stuff. Because Yuno's name was translated as Juno in the early fan translations, and Asta was Aster. I remember that. I actually liked Aster because I think Aster is I think it kind of, one of the definitions, it's gray or something. And I liked it because of Asta's hair. Obviously Asta's got that gray hair. But I thought Asta made more sense, when I saw the theory about, Astaroth, the demon messenger. I don't know. There can easily be ways to, if Tabata wanted to tell Asta of being, some special something or other. It would have to be handled very delicately, because it will absolutely annoy me if it's you're some special prince from the demon realm or something. No, have something. You can have something, but I don't know. I don't want anything crazy. How do you think Asta will get his Demon Dweller sword? What do you mean? How do you think he'll get it? He already has it. Right now, Black Clover is the best time to power and overall Magic Night Rings. So they have a lot. I mean, they're gonna when they leave. So when they leave, they're gonna come back in probably a bad state for the Clover Kingdom. Like I imagine they're gonna go on some really awesome, crazy journey. And when they come back, the Diamond Kingdom will have conquered like the Clover. I mean, they're gonna have to get powered up. They lost losing Julius was a big hit. Losing Julius really hurt them. It completely subtracted their biggest person from the kingdom. It completely subtracted their biggest member and not only offense but also defense to their land. So what are they gonna do if something really kind of shows up? Because they also are they have to take out Yami. They're taking out multiple members of the Black Bulls. Who knows what other kind of bad stuff's going on? Goldry is gonna kick rocks as soon as he gets an opportunity. I mean that's for sure. Alvarez was truly disappointing. I don't agree. I don't agree with that statement. I think Alvarez the second half had a little bit of a pacing issue, but I think that was intentional. I have my own theories there, but overall I thought that the Alvarez arc was pretty good. It's not my favorite arc. I like Tartarus more, and then 100 Years Quest I think has been... 100 Years Quest has the potential to top Tartarus for me, but Tartarus is currently my favorite fairy tale arc for sure. Definitely. And I think Austin are from the past. I don't know. I mean, that'd be kind of weird of how you would work that in, though. I think there's some weird soul stuff going on. That's far from evidence. There's the question of at what point all the Austin came into be. What's up with and the weird soul guy, but I don't know. I still have my theories. I still have the theory that the soul that is within is the elf child of Licton Tedia, and it's actually he's an elf soul, but he grew up around humans, so there's really no distinctive difference. It's because you have all these elf characters who had human forms already, but they had the elf souls, and then when the elf stuff went off, they became elf-like. But I don't know. The past stuff is kind of weird. Because you don't need... I mean, you wouldn't really need to have, some, time travel stuff, because it's not like Tedia was, Tedia didn't give birth. Her child's soul kind of just get put into a new baby. We already know how that resurrection stuff works. But, I don't know. We will get to it eventually. That's one of those secrets I'm hoping Tabata, saves for a big day. Chapter 300 or something. Chapter 400. Chapter 500. Some special number that really just kind of, marks an occasion. I mean, we're going to give it... I mean, we're already at, 222? I mean, we're on our way to chapter 300. I wonder what kind of craziness we'll get towards then. I've seen some theory that the reason Asta does not have magic is because somebody used a contract with the devil and all of Asta's magic was sacrificed. So one of my theories was... Because we know from the... the whole, cave bit when they were stealing children and draining their magic... that draining magic from really little kids could permanently mess with their magic. So what if Asta was part of that when he was an infant, and obviously if being 5 or 6 draining your magic can permanently hurt it. I imagine as a baby it can permanently drain it, or prenatal before he's born, just having his magic drained and just so he was born that way. Something weird like that, and so just an unfortunate case rather than Asta being special of some kind. Asta's full demon form. Oh, we'll get to it. So I would like it to get pushed off a little bit, and why I say that is I did a video a couple weeks ago on Asta, getting a mount. Asta needs some form of mount to ride because he can't ride a broom. He can't be in his black form all the time. But because it's not just the anti-magic, it also put strain on his body. But one of the things about it is Tabata loves Berserk. One of Tabata's favorite manga is Berserk, and one thing he could do is Asta get some form of animal and then put the anti-magic energy on it, and then give it wings and maybe some horns so he can fly, and then maybe make it look like Nosferatu Zod. That would be really sick. But then I think that would be a cool thing if Asta could put anti-magic onto another being, something some form of animal he's tamed. It would be a cool stepping point in between a next and further form, demonic form for Asta. Because you got to save it, obviously. If it's working up this high, we got his standard black form. Through the Elf Resurrection arc, we get a slightly progressed form. But you can't go too fast, because then it's what is it going to do next? What will be the plan? Bro, you're right, but I want to say that in our country, people compare anime to scum and meaningless cartoons. That's not cool. Well, that's how it used to be in America. Like anime was very frowned upon, and now it's starting to become mainstream. You just gotta let it kind of like take. It's gonna take time, and then eventually people just get used to it. Like the same thing. Like outside of like Pokemon and Dragon Ball and Yu-Gi-Oh and Digimon. Like, and if you liked anime in America, that people would make fun of you. You get bullied for it, and then it just became really mainstream. And people. I mean, now you like it, and it's like people are like, oh yeah, me too, whatever. Oh, my cousin likes that, and then. And you don't get that same thing anymore. It's like the same thing like superhero stuff. Like superheroes are really so popular now, but like what like couple years not like couple years ago, but like probably like 80s, 90s, 70s and stuff. You like superheroes, you were a nerd, and now look at them. Now look how things go. That would make sense. I agree more with the theory, Zach. Oh, it's not at me. Can't also just touch the sword to give it anti-magic? Well, you could probably like flow it through stuff. Oh crap! I missed my spot. Here we go. But how did get a magic stone? I mean, again, these are questions that we'll figure out. I mean, there's probably some dude involved, like maybe somebody who was taking care of both of them, draining magic from Asta, but then giving the magic stone to I don't know. I don't know. It's gonna be a fun thing to eventually touch down upon, because there's got to be a character that relates to both of them that we haven't seen yet. Lick gave the sword back right after he combined magic with William Vengeance to get all elf spirits and people's bodies. I'll have to go double check that. I remember Asta trying to give him the book, but I can't remember him. I kind of actually now vaguely remember him giving him the sword. And then I think that's when Asta tried to give him the book back. I think. I have to go back and look. I like the part where you were trying to look at the girl's boobs. Listen, that was important research. What's wrong with Fairy Tale, Jared Punch? Talking shit? Do you find any major information on the name of Megicula? I didn't find anything yet. I haven't done a lot of research. Like I said, I've been busy. I've been moving. I just got moved in to a new place. I mean, we're already gonna, what's today, Sunday? We're gonna get chapter information in a few days anyway. I mean, if there's not anything that really kind of go off of from this next chapter, I'll probably start looking into it. I'm sure there's something, like the Cula, I imagine some form of Dracula reference, but I don't know. Maybe there's actually a demon called Megicula in some mythos. What if Asta dies and meets Licht, and Licht helps him with the soul? Wait, if Asta's gonna die, how's he gonna come back? He'll be dead. A protagonist having a special bloodline is fine, but as long as it doesn't go against the message character. Well, yeah, because then it'll completely damage like the themes. If Joel died in the Tower of Heaven and Mystigan stayed in Earthland, do you think he would become just as useful? No, because he can't use magic the same. Like, Mystigan couldn't use magic the same. He had to have the stabs with him in order to operate, like, pretty much like an Earthland mage. He doesn't, like, even though he came over, he doesn't have the same, physical body and ability to, like, absorb magic into them. Because we know, like, with Fairy Tale mages, like, Earthland, I don't mean Fairy Tale the Guild. With Earthland mages, because they pretty much have, like, almost like a container in their body, like we already saw that, and then the second one with Second Origin, they have that naturally put in, so they'll, like, just naturally absorb magic in the air around them, ether nano to replenish themselves, and the people from Edelus don't have that, so they couldn't. Like, Mystigan, I mean, he could, like, push and become stronger than he was at the time at least, but I don't think he could become Jalal levels. Like, where would he get all this magical power in specific items? You should do a what if series. What if series for what? Me? What am I gonna do? Hi Rex. What's up, Captain Merkel? You made it in time. Do you think Asta will use a spell that doesn't use his sword? So that's what I mean when I was talking about if Asta got a mount and then put anti-magic on that, and then, you maybe took some animal and turned it into some big demonic horned and winged beasts covered in anti-magic. That would be really cool. Thoughts on the Hiei versus Sasuke death battle? I have to go back and look at some parts of Yu Hakusho, because I'm pretty sure the death battle was using anime-only scenes, and, like, they were using non-canon stuff to make Hiei win, which is dumb, because I don't remember... Actually, I can look at some stuff right now in the middle of this while I talk, but I don't remember Hiei ever having any giant planet-arcing explosions. I know they're trying to, like, scale them from Hiei, or from Yusuke, which I already thought was kind of, like, wonky as hell, but I'm pretty sure, like, that big arc, like, explosion near the end... That didn't happen the same way in the manga. But one of the also things is they didn't they didn't curve planetary or they didn't do planetary curves the same. Like that was completely ridiculous. They completely messed that up, and it just does not look properly. Because what the thing is, I think the explosion in the tournament like area that was like in like much closer than the horizon because they're scaling the curvature of the planet, which was on the horizon to something like way up in the foreground, which you can't do. It's very silly. Do you think Osty's... Oh, you read that? Why don't you do One Piece at all, or do you? I did One Piece reviews a while ago. I stopped because I wasn't happy with what was going on, and I didn't want to just talk negatively about it. Like, I was really hyped up for all the Reverie stuff, and then, like, that got off-paneled, and then we had, like, what was it, we had Luffy get completely wrecked by Kaido, and I was like, man, look how pissed off Luffy is. Like, he's all chained up, he's looking helpless, he's going to jail. And I was hoping for maybe, like, a serious, like, pissed off Luffy who's just, like, mad, and you got to see, like, a darker side to him. Not, like, evil Luffy, but just, like, him frustrated and upset. And because he didn't know, I still don't think he knows if his friends are alive, because he saw, like, Kaido, blow up the castle. So I have to go back and look, but I think he still, doesn't know that they lived. I'd have to double check unless one of you guys know, like, a scene where he saw the acknowledgement they're alive. But, like, then the next chapter, he was just, like, back to normal, like, all shackled up, just, like, hard working in prison. And I'm like, that skipped over the thing I was excited about now. And then I was like, okay, what's going on here? All right, cool, page 1. Because I will say, I was excited about X-Drake's hybrid form for years. And then we saw it, and I was like, wow, his hybrid form looks pretty lame. And then we got page 1, and page 1's hybrid form looks really cool. He looks like freaking Killer Croc with some, like, emo haircut. And then Sanji got a cool raid suit, and Oda off-panel that, and I was so upset about what was, like, going on in One Piece. I didn't want to just talk about it to be, annoyed. I don't want to review something for the sake of clout. Like, I don't like to do stuff if it's just like, oh, like, people are mad about this chapter, well, I guess I'll review it. The only time I came back was, like, Seven Deadly Sins when they really upset me, and it's because I genuinely wanted to talk about it. But it's been good for the last, like 8 to 10 chapters, so, that makes me happy. I don't know. I just don't want to review One Piece, because people also get really salty if you, have any form of negative, like, comment or criticism. People get pissed off. And it's like, man, I'm not saying that the series sucks, I'm just saying I personally didn't like this part. Calm down. And even if you, like, make a valid point on, like, a part that you don't like for a reason, they get mad at you anyway, so it's like, whatever. Asta, great names. You don't mind if I call them... Oh, I don't care. You can call them what you want. The only death battle I liked was Darkseid versus Thanos. I mean, there's some of them are good, but you can tell which ones are... You can tell which death battles they research and which ones they just read Wikipedia pages. Like, the Kirby versus Majin Buu one I really liked. Guts versus Nightmare. But then they had ones like... any of the Power Rangers ones are garbage. Because they act like Light Speed was impressive to the Power Rangers. I don't know if anybody... I don't know if you know. Anybody who's, like, new to this stream. Just as people are showing up for Black Clover and I'm talking about Power Rangers. But I'm a big fan of Power Rangers. And... one thing that's consistent throughout every single season is they are absurdly fast, and light speed is nothing. Like, messing with light speed stuff is slow for a Power Ranger. And here they have, like, the lions, or the, what are they called? The lion robots, or whatever, from Voltron. They're like, they're so fast. And, like, the Gundam that moved at, like, Mach 30. And I'm just like, you guys know nothing. You could have, there's so many clips online. There's so many, like, places you could have gone to, like, look into this. They just read some Wikipedia pages. I mean, I don't like Death Battle a lot of the time. Like, a majority of the time I watch Death Battle is either like, oh, hey, an episode came out, I'm on my lunch break. I want something to watch while I'm on lunch. Or just like, here's a character I know nothing about. Let's just see what they talk about. And I don't really take a lot of what they say seriously. Like, what they made Urza lose to Zoro, which is ridiculous. They had Natsu versus Ace. Natsu won, but, like, that's not a fight for him. Ace is not a challenge for Natsu at all. That was very silly. Megiku's the one who still lost his magic because it didn't look like Unoast arrived right after they got born, so it felt like 6 months when they arrived. I mean, again, I don't know if Megicula would be the one in there because this is... I feel like if somehow this character branched over into Austin and Yuno's story, it would have to be a much bigger like deal and made out to be a much bigger deal. I mean, could it be a demon involved? Sure. Do I think it's this demon? I doubt it. But I mean, it could. I doubt it's this one just because this one seems to be exclusive to Noelle's story. Do you like Hiei versus Sasuke fight? No. I mean, the fact that the Sasuke versus Hiei fight was silly. I mean, one thing in Super that Sasuke is very consistent about is he likes to swap places with people constantly to put them in their own attacks. They barely had Sasuke do that against Hiei. They used anime-only stuff. It was dumb. I mean, Hiei cannot fight Sasuke. Sasuke would whoop the shit out of him. Where would you rank the Water Dragon God amongst other fairy tale arcs? I mean, I don't really rank 100 Years Quest as an arc because it's one story. It's like a saga. I mean, I want to like say it when it's over. I mean, I thought it was pretty good. I mean, it'd be kind of hard to rank it with others because it's only like what 20, 22, 23 chapters long. So it's like it would be kind of like you're getting pretty straightforward content. Like there's not a lot of bullshit in 100 Years Quest. There's not a lot of like side for fun content. Like I don't mean for fun. There's not a lot of side content that feels like it's there just to kind of take up some panels. It gets very to the point, keeps things going at a good pace. So I can't really compare it to them. Like when I say like Tartarus is my favorite, but like 100 Years Quest has the potential, but 100 Years Quest is really about the quest itself overall rather than just one part. Kind of hard to compare it. Last chapter, Boruto revealed that Naruto and Sasuke's fate. I actually really like where Boruto's manga is at. The last couple chapters have been super solid. Great battle, in my opinion. The Megazord versus Voltron. That's not a fight. Like, the Megazord, just the original Mighty Morphin Megazord, would completely destroy Voltron. Like, Power Rangers' power levels is so beyond Voltron, it's ridiculous. And the fact that they did not do, like, any research just annoyed me even more. I haven't seen it, I might check it out. No, it's a bad one. Like, Power Rangers are so much beyond. Like, one of the feats in Power Rangers, like, has. I think it's for Serpentera, and it has it, like, trillions of times light speed. And yet, here these guys are like, oh, Mach 40 Gundam is too much for a Zord. No, that's bullshit. Absolutely ridiculous. Even though Ost had magic, I highly doubt he can be gaining it back, especially now. Especially now he has anti-magic. I don't think he's going to give it back. Why would he get it back? Tanjiro and Nezuko, no one will destroy their bond. I mean, they're pretty good. You clearly have BFS, don't... What? You clearly love BFS, don't you? What? Black Clover? I don't know what that is. Black Clover X Fairy Tail. That'd be a really nice crossover. I think that'd be solid. It's a shame that they're two different... they're two completely different magazines. Otherwise, we could get it. Maybe people can do some fan art. Fringe Edge can maybe bring back, or the devil can help him. Maybe. Final Dragon Full Burst Golden Sun is pretty fire and light together. Only time to move faster. That's good. Demon King of Gravity says, I don't know why I read his full name, but I think Shiki could become a villain. Remember, he said he could go down different paths. I think he's going to become like a nice guy, like in personality, but like at the threat of his crew, he pretty much takes on the personality of a villain. Just that like viciousness. Like an anti-villain is kind of like the overall personality, like overall kind of theme I'd see with him, and then just like that threat level rises, and then time to go crazy. Taco's Destroyer Sword negates effects on monsters that have already been resolved, and prevents your monsters from being affected by your opponent's card effects. I mean, that sounds like too broken of a card. It's too wide range. You gotta get banned. Oh boy, the next chapter of Eden Zero is called The One Who Carries the Next Soul. Yeah, it's probably gonna be onto. My guess is either going to be Homura themed or Pino themed, because we know that Pino is set up to become one of the next shining stars for Eden Zero. Black Clover wants us. Oh wait, I almost skipped one. Thoughts on what happened to Sabo? I don't remember what happened to Vivi, but Sabo, I doubt he's dead. If he's dead, then Luffy's going to have a flashback, and there's going to be a fourth brother that we never knew about that he just never got mentioned until today. He will also get the Mara no Mi. He'll just be like, oh, don't worry, guys, I'll got it. I have a different hat. Black Clover wants us to believe that Ebersol and Noelle didn't have been told how their mother really died because speaking about the demon cursed them. What about just writing down the information? Well, then what happens if they accidentally say it? Then you're putting them at risk of any time that they possibly mention this at all, whether by accident, and plus they're kids until that point. Like Noelle is what, like 15? What is he gonna tell him when she's 12? It's easier than saying, hey, don't ever speak about this. It's just never telling them, because then they're never gonna risk the possibility of accidentally cursing themselves. I mean, and then you have to, like, what are you gonna explain to them somehow your mom got like somehow intertwined with a demon, and then what's gonna happen? Like, what do you expect them to do after that point? It's gonna get too crazy. I don't know. I don't know why you tell anybody crazy stuff like that, because it could easily mess with their mind. Maybe like get an obsession on the demons themselves. You're opening up potential accidents of them learning stuff. But Dorothy just seems to be all up in it. She's just like, hey, I might as well tell you. I doubt Nozel really wanted to get them linked up in that. I mean, why would he? Thoughts on Naruto versus Ichigo death battle? I mean, it was okay. I didn't really think that Ichigo could really get in there too much. I've seen a lot of Bleach wankery since the novel came out, and people like tried to claim that like Bleach characters are like multiversal and something ridiculous. I don't agree. Yes, Rax taking One Piece. I mean, talking. I mean, I enjoy One Piece. Here's the thing. I enjoy the story. I don't like I like things more than it, and a lot of people get salty that I would ever rank something above One Piece, but that's my personal opinion. But I'm not a huge fan of what's well, I can't say what's currently in the story because I did like the last couple chapters, but I'm just not. I wouldn't rank it as even like my top 5 in Shonen Jump. But that's just me. But I can't talk about it. I just didn't want to. I didn't want to review it, and then it just sounding like I was just negative. Because then it's just like, well, I'm just reviewing it, and talking about it for the sake of having a review for it. I don't want that. I want to review stuff for the sake of like me actually enjoying talking about it. Like I really like talking about Jujutsu Kaisen. Doesn't get a lot of views, but I really like the series, so I want to put out reviews for it. And then you actually had someone reviewing the series also online, and other Jujutsu Kaisen fans, have someone to go. If they want to see a review on it, they want to, get some more opinions. Maybe other people want to see if the series is good, and stuff like that. I don't know. It just with One Piece and My Hero Academia, I kind of was like, I just want to pull away from it. Maybe come back to it eventually, but for the most part, I just didn't want to seem like I'm just trying to slander. Kirby versus Majin made sense to me. Oh, I already knew Kirby was gonna beat Majin Buu. I already knew that one. It would have annoyed me if Kirby lost. Rebecca can use guns. You think she would start to kill her opponents? She uses ether guns. I mean, if she used real guns, she'd probably kill a lot of people. They're probably not as useful as the ether guns though, because ether guns, as long as she's got energy, she should be able to like recharge them through like putting energy within them. She needs to get some form of. I'm curious to know what exactly her ether is going to be, because now it just seems like maybe some lock-on power, maybe like she has like more guns. Actually, it'd be really cool for her is if she could be like, oh yeah, I can control guns if I touch them. So it'd be like, oh, she can just like has like multiple other guns, and like maybe she unholsters them and then just lets go of them and they kind of float around her, something like that. That'd be pretty neat. Pretty simplistic yet pretty neat. Has a lot of possibilities to it. Well, someone became a bounty hunter for the sake of helping other people. I think that's a series already. I'd have to go back and look, but it seems it makes me think of something. I'm trying really hard to remember what it is. I'd have to go back and like. Thanks for your honesty. Yeah, I like to. There's always the thing about it. It's hard because there's always the fact that you can make money off YouTube. Building up your fan base, getting good views and numbers. But I enjoy the fact that I'm very straightforward about like my opinions and stuff. I mean, even if they're not popular, I still want people to know like, well, at least he's being genuine. I get really annoyed when I see like somebody. It's like they do a review just because something's popular and they don't actually care. They're just trying to get some views. They're just trying to get however many dollars come with the views of their channel. Trying to get some attention, some clout, and I would much rather talk about stuff I like, and then it's like, oh, cool. If this gets views, then fantastic. And if it doesn't, then it's like, okay, I had fun talking about it. Like I did a character discussion yesterday on Marred Gear, and it's only got 100 views, and I don't care because I really like the character. I had a lot of fun just going through some of the chapters that I got the panels out of, and I like talking about the character. So I had fun doing it. So it's like, oh, as long as have a good time, then really what's the problem? Tank is not a powerful, it's not a power friendship type of guy. That's unfortunate. Friendship's the best. Gets more power from negative emotions than overcoming it. Oh, then he's gonna be sad? He's gonna be grumpy and then punch somebody? One person that says that Natsu is a watered down version of Luffy. Here's the thing. There's so many differentiating points between Natsu and Luffy. I don't know why people make this claim. I mean, really, what similarities are there to them? I mean, they're happy, I guess. They like their team. Like, even when you get to, certain aspects, Natsu was straightforward, events in their story. Luffy's entire goal is becoming Pirate King. He wants to be the freest man. Whereas Natsu wants to protect, what he already has, keep his friends safe at all costs. He was literally offered the position of king for Logi when he died, and he's like, no, I don't want to be the king of anybody. He's not looking for that high position. He's not looking for some absurd status quo. He just wants to keep his friends safe, go on adventures, enjoy his life, and you have just so many base root aspects about them that really just kind of separate. And when you look at that, and you can compare a lot of different main characters and be like, hey, look, this guy's really friendly and he likes friends. He likes his crew. It's like, so does everybody. What about aspects how they handle situations? What about when they while facing hardships? What about certain aspects of who they are, and what about them are defining features? I mean, it's very silly. That's you can really just say then Luffy's a watered down version of Goku. Well, I guess it'd probably be I think they're probably about the same. It's not a whole lot to Goku. There's not a ton about Luffy. I mean, Luffy's more about being how he interacts with all the colorful characters around him, rather than him as default. Big fucking swords, TV tropes. Oh, giant swords are awesome. I love giant swords, big mega great swords. Rinnegan Obito versus Dark Leg. I'm gonna go with Obito on that one. He's way more powerful with the Ten Tails. I mean, Black Clover might get more powerful at some point, but as he is now, no, he's not taking on Obito. F in the chat for I. That was sad, man. King of Lightning says One Piece is way better than their fairy tale. I mean, I don't care. People are gonna like stuff more. I mean, if it was whichever one is liked the most is the best, then everyone might as well drop whatever their favorites and just say that One Piece is their favorite. That's boring. People like other things. I like fairy tale way more than One Piece. That's my opinion. King of Lightning though, didn't even understand a lot of the story. He didn't understand why Sting surrendered during the Grand Magic Games. He just likes to say words. He just wants clout. He just wants to jump on hate mob bandwagons in order for popularity for his channel. Whatever. I don't care about his opinion. I am disappointed in the way that he does his thing, but whatever. He can do whatever he wants, obviously. Galaxy is one of my favorite type of... I don't say rip-off. It was an homage. When you say a rip-off, it sounds insulting. Galaxy Eyes, though, is cool as shit. That's like saying Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon is a rip-off of King Ghidorah. It's not. You just... Something about Konami and three-headed dragons. Wait. Almost lost my spot. I wish there was an easier way to scroll. No, they're adults in Clover, especially Nebra. No, I'm talking about at the time of. At the time of when all this happened, they were all kids. Nozel was the only one that was upper. I would say not an adult, but older teens. And why is he gonna drop this information on them? Why do they need to know? Why would you want if you have oh yeah, your mother died in childbirth, then it's oh man, that sucks. Versus hey, your mom got cursed by a demon and these things happen, and if you mention this to anyone, you will also be cursed and die. Why would you even want to do that? Why would you want to put that on them? That Nozel doesn't want that. What do you think of what happened if Shiki went back to Granville after finding Mother? I mean, that depends. What's going to happen when he finds Mother? Is he going to get reborn? Is he going to become Buff Shiki from the Digitalis? I don't know. If he could go back, but all the machines are broken. So really, what's he going to do? I mean, he could recreate them. He could reprogram them or something. But a lot of his... You can't really go back and really fix things that no longer have the capabilities of working. He might go, he'll probably go there, near the end of the story. That'll probably be his base of operations. whatever planet he kind of, has always got its resting point. But I imagine he's going to be moving around a lot. We'll see him probably touch back down on Grand Bell at some point, but it will be a sad time. I don't know really what he's going to do. Maybe he will build his straight base out of there, and we'll get some, cool castle. I don't know. I would say that it's going to be some, emotional homecoming for him, and he's going to figure out how he can honor all the people in Grand Bell without, tarnishing their memory, but also will not kind of holding on to the past, still moving forward. But we will see. We'll see that about him. Neo Galaxy-Eyes Photon Dragon is made from the Baryon World. Galaxy-Eyes Prime Photon Dragon is made from Astral. So Neo Prime Photon Dragon is a mixture of both. I don't know what that has to do with anything, but I do like the awesomeness of the Photon Dragons. Galaxy says, what is the other one? Tachyon Dragon. There we go. Since Baku had a sonic wave, does that mean that he's around the speed of sound in general? He should be faster than the speed of sound. But we already have, some, displays that should be around that already. But, I mean, if he in general is moving around that, and then you have Arsenal keeping up with him, then obviously, he is faster than sound. How do you feel about Hancock? Oh, wait, how would Hancock feel about Asta? What? Hancock and Asta? What kind of combination would that even be? I don't know. That's such a weird combination. That's how would Deku and Blackbeard interact? I don't know. There's no comparison. There's not there's nothing to really kind of put him in there and be because of the way that Luffy acted these ways and the way that Asta would see things and he would do it this way and what we know about Hancock, it's I don't know, he'd probably be really confused. He'd probably be really nice to her because Asta's a good boy. War Art Sasuke versus Base Seraph. Seraph would maul him. Seraph could literally pull powers out of his body and then put them in himself. Seraph is ridiculous. Kakai and Beautiful Tenka, haha. I mean, is he gonna not like her? Sting and I have the same Japanese voice actor. I didn't know that. Revolver Link 5 Monster, Barrel Load Dragon Revolver. Wouldn't it be... I feel like it'd be something more like Barrel Load Desperado Dragon, or it'd have to be some extra crazy thing in the name in between them. I mean, Revolver Dragon would be kind of cool, but I think it'd be too straightforward. You'd have to have something because Firewall Dragon Dark Fluid. Dark Fluid is one of the theories about the origin of the universe. I did a little bit of research on that because I was curious, but it had to be something what would it be Boral Load Big Bang Dragon or something? I don't know. One person said Natsu's a watered out version of Luffy. I don't agree with them. It's stupid because what? Yu-Gi-Oh! Egyptian Gods versus Comic Thanos. Thanos is gonna kill them. Why would you do that? Natsu. I think Natsu is a much further developed character than Luffy. There's a lot of instances of Natsu having pretty good development, learning lessons, progressing as he is. Just for instance, when you go back and look at Galuna Island when he stopped Gray from using Ice Shell versus Alvarez when he stopped Gray from using Ice Shell in Galuna Island, Natsu was very aggressive with him. He pretty much he pretty much told him he was a pussy. And that if he ran from the battle, then all he's doing is fleeing. Nobody wins at that point. He's not taking the victory. The battle's not over. Whereas in Alvarez, Natsu said to him the same thing that Happy said to him when Natsu was gonna die in order to save everyone. And Natsu straight up was in tears over it. He didn't want to see his friend die for their sake. And it was a much more pushed moment for him. And at the same time showing a very different reaction to a similar situation. You can't say that he doesn't progress when you have something like that in the story. But you're talking about the Nebra Solid and no. But if you talk about them when they're older, then they're gonna want to take action. If you tell Nebra Solid as an adult, this is what happened, what do you expect them to do? They think they're gonna be oh, thanks for telling me something much more creepy and depressing than what I knew. What are they gonna go after the Megicula? Are they gonna try and do something with the demons? Now they also have something on them they have the knowledge of this thing that if they tell anybody, they will be cursed and they will die. So why would you ever want to put that possibility in? That's hey, I have the videotape from The Ring. I could tell nobody about this, or I could go up to them and give them it and say, hey, don't watch this or you'll die. It's no, just don't tell anybody. What deck would the Black Bulls use? Gladiator Beasts. Do that, that'd be sick. Kieran of the Darkness Lightning Flame. Isn't that's Wait, oh, that fusion of Sasuke and Ie. Darkness from Zero. Aokiji versus Scullion. Um, I mean, Scullion has the hacks for it. He would just completely ash over Aokiji. And the thing about One Piece that a lot of people don't realize when they know, in the One Piece world, Logias are very powerful because obviously they have the elements. It's like a straw to straight, really useful devil fruit from the get go. But also the fact by eating a Logia, you are an elemental intangible, so you can phase through physical attacks that don't have Haki. But Haki, it's this mystical willpower energy. When you have a series that has something similar as their energy source, it's gonna really kind of like the whole intangibility is gonna be screwed over. But also the fact that with Scullion, it's like, okay, cool, you can turn into ice. Wow. Well, guess what? I can turn your ice into ash, so your elemental intangibility is completely useless. Everything that you had right there completely voided out. Nothing coming from that bonus of your skill. You're screwed. How powerful is Yugi compared to DC comic book superheroes? Well, it depends on the comic book superhero, because comic book superheroes vary in power level drastically. But Yugi is actually multiversal because Yuki's done a lot of crazy things. Like, he can control time, space, fate, creation. He can rip souls out of people's body. He can crush someone's mind, like their psyche. He's got he's exceeded the concept of infinity, and he can summon Horikiri, who's the creator of the Yu-Gi-Oh! Multiverse, who created thousands of universes in the span of a couple seconds. Yugi is very powerful. Atem is very powerful by proxy. Or is it... I guess both of them are powerful by proxy. I mean, because they're really... Yugi is the reincarnation of Atem, so really, they're both that kind of position. We just saw more from Atem because he was much more in control at the time of than when we saw, Yugi at the end of GX. Yusuke versus Naruto. Naruto would completely kill him. Top 10 duels in Vrains. I'd have to go back and look. One of my favorites for sure would be... I really like Soulburner's first duel, just because I really like seeing his deck and pulling out Salaman, Great Heat, Leo. Usaka versus Bowman. I mean, that was pretty sick. I love that scene when he summons Firewall Dragon Dark Fluid, and he just busts down the scene. He's just energetic he is. He comes out with a Link 5. I was really surprised that Usaka, Playmaker, didn't get a Link 6 in the final duel. That legitimately surprised the hell out of me. I figured, okay, here comes Link 6. Oh, Link 6 from I. Well, what's going to happen with Playmaker? He's going to pull out, Firewall Dragon blank something. Link 6. Didn't. Which is, again, extremely surprising because they decided to establish a Link 6, but didn't give it to the main character, which is weird. I don't know. Soulburner versus Revolver is definitely top 5. Yeah, that's definitely a top 5. I would agree on that. That was a really sick duel. I love that duel. I really look forward to seeing what the next main cast is. It makes me really wish that we got Soulburner in the first season, because Soulburner, I think, legitimately really added an extra level of this quality to the series, an extra step in Yu-Gi-Oh! Vrains coming up as well as it did, because the series, Season 1 I was not too fond of, but Season 2 and 3 were great. I was the main character. I like that we actually got that line where he's like, was I good? And he's like, no, you were the best. I was happy that part, but I was a really good. His descent and climb was sad but cool as well. Thoughts on the Fusion Dimension villain Yuri from Yu-Gi-Oh! Vrains? I'm currently rewatching Yu-Gi-Oh! Vrains, so I can't give you full on commentary right now. I'm watching the first season. I'm watching that one dubbed, but I'm gonna switch over to subbed once I get to season 2, because the first season is a lot more kind of free-spirited, a lot more happier, and then we get to a lot more serious stuff. I'm going to switch back to the dub. We get to stuff Jack Atlas, because dub Jack Atlas just bothers me. I don't want him to be British. He's supposed to be this big jacked badass dude, and he's like, oh, hello, governor. I mean, that's not even the real one. You have to make his voice way higher. It's not the fact he's British. It's the fact that they gave him Bakura's voice, and Bakura was this twink British dude. He was tiny, and they didn't really change anything. This makes no sense considering Noelle was told, yeah, by Dorothy, not by Nozel, by someone completely different. Someone completely different. We're not factoring in the fact that Noelle went to her and asked, and she told him. She didn't go to Nozel. Nozel didn't come to her. It was a completely different character. It was a completely different person. Because now this character also is like, yeah, we can talk about it here in my pocket dimension. You know what? Nozel doesn't have a freaking pocket dimension. I mean, now at this point, you're just being like, why didn't Nozel just go and tell his siblings of this thing that will kill them if they ever bring it up? I mean, why would he do that? Why would he risk that? It's completely against his character. Why would he go do that? What would be the point? What would be the point of his character just saying, "Hey, I'm going to tell you guys this for no reason whatsoever"? Tell me, what reason would he have to tell any of them? Just cause? Why would they want to? Why would he want to put that information to them? He wouldn't. It would be silly. Hisaku's getting shot was, I'm not going to lie, pretty dark. Even for Yu-Gi-Oh!, even for Vrain standards. Which part? I'm trying to remember which part it is you're talking about specifically. Ask for Deku to dance off. I don't think either of them could dance. I don't think there's any parts where they dance. Salman, great. Link 5 ideas. You have to pick something cool. Give him like a dragon. Give him like maybe like some form of incarnation like Apollo. You already have Pyro Phoenix. The take scene. Yeah. I have to go back and look. I'm trying to remember now. Tenka's a tsundere himself, but doesn't actually like tsunderes. He's a hypocrite then. How can he like people that he doesn't, that he himself is part of? I don't know. But as is. Oh, hold on. Somebody just messaged me. 1 second. 1 second. I gotta reply to this. Just give me a moment. Between God's Serena and Kimimaru, which you think deserved more screen time? God's Serena. Here's the thing. Kimimaru was really cool, but Kimimaru got definitely one of the coolest fight like sequences in Naruto between his fight with Rock Lee and Gaara, and he got a little bit against Naruto too. Like God Serena got next to nothing, but on top of that, God Serena also had a lot of hype, and he had good positioning. He got kind of screwed over, but obviously, like for him, he challenged somebody he should not have challenged. 1 second, let me reply to this. 1 second. Almost done. Just replying to somebody. Okay, so I don't know. One thing I am wondering, first off, just chill. You guys all better all leave Jujutsu Kaisen, I would say. We are getting information on the next Yu-Gi-Ohs. Hopefully soon, because they already said 2020. They said that there's going to be it's going to be an anniversary series. So that's going to be hype. Aoi. After the eye duel, I watched Yusaku getting shot by a military tank in the flashback. Did he? I'm gonna have to go back and watch. I'm misjudging or misremembering which duel specific with I, like after his duel specifically. I'm gonna have to go. Yeah, I'll go back and look. I don't remember. Bro, you skipped over when I say that Nozel hinted information. Hinting is not the same as straight telling them. It's not the same. And what if you go by that logic and he hinted at Dorothy, then it's like, hey, you could find this out, but for this person that has a pocket dimension that you could actually communicate with and tell you the story of what this is. But why would he write it down and then tell them? Why would he do that? If he writes it down, what's going to happen if somebody misreads it? What's going to happen if somebody says it out loud while doing it? You have to have it in a situation where it's fully controlled if you're going to end up doing that. I mean, come on. Because otherwise it'd be like giving somebody the tape from is it The Ring or The Grudge? The Ring, it'd be like, hey, don't watch this, versus if you had something like, oh yeah, this person, if you watch the videotape in, at their house, nothing happens. Okay, well then go do that. Go do that then. It's even better. It would be much safer, much more well placed, much more secure, more intelligent in general as well. I'm not saying it's impossible. I'm saying that the idea of him just being like, let me write this down. Like, and then it's like, oh, are you going to write her out a whole letter? Why don't you just talk? Then obviously you can't just straight talk. It's got to be in a controlled situation. Yusaku versus Akira and all the Yusaku versus revolvers. It was after the duel. After that, using arrows was actually pretty shocking. I'm surprised we never got any more Link spells. Like, we got Link arrows. I figured that would be maybe Bowman's thing. Maybe he'd have a couple more. And like, oh, maybe it will be lightning, or maybe it will be eye. No, he just got Link arrows, it was a pretty strong card. I mean, but I figured there'd be a couple of them, but we only got one. I don't know. I would like this. I'm very excited to see what the plan is for this anniversary series for the next Yu-Gi-Oh! Because the fact that they're calling it an anniversary series makes me think, like, is it going to be like, uniting all of the other series? Are we going to get some form of crossover between all the other, 6? Are we going to get a 7th that somehow links them all up together? Is it going to be like a new cast? Or are we mixing all the other ones? I don't know. But what we do know is that it's going to be pretty exciting. I am pretty stoked for it. I am pretty stoked to see how this goes down. I am very excited to see like what their plan is. Is there going to be a new summoning type? Is there going to be, is it going to be a full new main cast? I don't know. I would actually really like it if it went back to Yugi and then we ended up getting like having him meet up with everyone else. Huh? Oh, just some stupid people commenting on Twitter. I'm just gonna ignore them. Well, I made one comment, but more of like funny stuff. Natsu BS Dark Magician. What? BS Dark Magician? What does that mean? Oh, you mean versus? I mean, he would burn his magic. He could burn Dark Magician's magic. Yusaku versus I, definitely my number one duel. Yeah, I like that one. I kind of like... I like that one a lot. I kind of like the duel with Soul Burner and Revolver. I kind of want to put that one as my number one now that I think about it. But the I versus Playmaker was pretty awesome. That was a pretty sick duel. I mean, that one just had a lot of like good climactic feel. That was just... It was sad to see that end, and the fact that I pretty much is just like, no matter if I win or if I lose, I'm done. There's no out to it. That's good for me. This is it. This is the end. I mean, what if he had a draw though? Maybe if he drew, then it was like how to save him. I don't know. There are ways to tie, so I'm wondering what would happen then if he tied with them. What do you think would go down? I don't know. I didn't even think about that till just now, but I really want to think about this. I'm very confused. Either way, not important, but it is something that I'm just like, well, why don't you do something? Why don't you, if you reversed it, you probably... Does Yusaku have any cards that would result in a draw? Like, I don't know. Yu-Gi-Oh! Vrains bites the dust. It is over. The last episode was the most recent episode was the last episode of Vrains. It was actually episode 999 of Yu-Gi-Oh! So, the very next episode, the way that Series 7 is going to start is going to be episode 1000. Favorite fight, anime fight this year, minus Austin Universe's Lick. That one is pretty awesome. I really like the Acnologia fight. I was happy to see they boosted that up too. I did like the way that they finished off the Natsu versus Zera fight. I was happy about that. I versus Playmaker. You got Soul Burner versus Revolver. Those are both pretty awesome. Very, very happy to see how these went down. Shadowhawk 1, 2, 3, 4. What? I'm confused. Sun versus I became really yaoi in those final. Wouldn't consider that yaoi. It was just like, hey, my friend is dying. My friend's consciousness is gonna like break away. I don't think they were just like, yeah, we're gonna make out here, man. Touch my robot dick. I don't know if that was gonna happen, but I don't know. Maybe there was some still shots back then that I didn't notice. Who knows? Was there something that I wasn't noticing? Was there some lewd stuff that went down that was unaware of my attention? I hope not. As is, though. As is. I think there's... We still gotta get some of the cards to come out for Link Frightens, though. I need it. I need some sick new ones. Actually, I don't, it'll be a while before my deck gets any new support cards. I don't want to reveal what deck I'm at. What are you at a loss at? Oh, we got sidetracked. People are asking about Yu-Gi-Oh stuff, so we start talking about Yu-Gi-Oh. I mean, do you have any questions that you'd like to ask? Would you like to direct the conversation in a different area, Shadowhawk? Playmaker's probably going to find I. I mean, who knows? We don't know because Yu-Gi-Oh likes to leave off on very light cliffhangers. Whoa, where's your... Oh, do you think Toke will control the Dragoners too? I mean, she has, like, control of people. So as long as she's able to get the process of what she's done with, like, members of the guild, then she should have no problem controlling them. I don't think she'll run into them. I mean, maybe she'll, like, match up with Georg and we'll see, like, how powerful both of them are. But I don't... I kind of, like... I see it as a possibility. I kind of don't want it to happen because I like you have this kind of, like, rogue, free-roaming faction between the Dragon Eaters. You get the Tokaduna spooky stuff, and the Dragon Eaters are just, monkey wrenches back in it. Back to the topic to Black Clover. Oh, what Black Clover questions do you have? I want to see what Mars is up to, because we haven't heard anything about Mars in over 100 chapters. It's been over 2 years. The last time we really got any information on Mars was the Witch's Forest arc. We know he went back, and he's just been rummaging around, running off, doing his own thing with the kingdom. I'm curious to know whether or not he ends up... Like, is he okay? Like, they've got those battle mages. What happened to them? Are really gonna... What is going on with them and the setup for them? Because it's been a couple months, I think, in their time, in real time... not in real time. In real time, it's been over 2 years. In their version of time, they've got to have some information and some progression that are going to really, like... evolve their kind of like status of their country. It'd be really... I mean, he could easily be like, no, we've been planning. It's only been 3 months. We're not going to try to overthrow a country right away. That's crazy talk. Your incomprehension makes no sense. Again, why are they going to write it down? Is he going to write down every single thing and they're just going to pass paper back and forth? Like, obviously, if they had this situation, this setup to be like, just go talk to Dorothy, then... Why would they be like, yeah, let's sit down and just write papers to each other? It's notes is high school. Plus now you have Dorothy who can make visuals with her magic. So, I mean, that's even a better, situation. Unless you think Nozelle's going to be like, let me make Mercury sculptures. I don't know. I don't agree. I think it would be... Could you imagine if this was the content of the story, and it's like we're gonna get 2 chapters of Noelle and Nozelle just writing papers back to each other? Look, I know you want Fuegoleon to be Wizard King, but I really do think Nozelle has more merit. No, what do you mean? He's a dick if he doesn't think someone's good enough for the Magic Knights. He's a jerk to them. And not only that, they have to be strong enough. They can't just be a nice guy. They can't just be like, oh, well, I can do these things. Fuegoleon he's the highest spot to do it because on top of everything else, he's also got Salamander. I mean, he's going to have the most powerful great spirit in terms of attack, and he's going to have the highest level of potential of protecting the Clover Kingdom. So why would he not go if Tobata already established him of being this big deal kind of setup? How do you think Yuma would interact with the other Yu-Gi-Oh protagonists? I'm sure they get along. Yuma's a chipper young lad. Dorothy x Nozelle. That'd be a weird combination. It'd be a super weird combination. Most villains in Zexal reigns will be revived and the characters will fight them. Who should have Lightning Face, Eye, Playmaker, Revolver. Wait, what? Face a, I don't know, probably play Revolver actually. Have Revolver duel out. Need more Revolver duels. He didn't get a cool version of Borolo, the same of he needed to get his own 4500 beast kind of every single Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon thing. Well, maybe not 4500, but similar. some big thug kind of like one, some big chunky boy. Hmm. Yami versus Jose. Yami's gonna kill Jose. Jose sucks. Or Jose. I always switch between those names. Dorothy has a meme waifu for me at first, like Sister Lily, but now she's in my top 10. I really like her personality. I think she's got a great personality. I think she's really fun just to see talk and interact with other characters. You think Julius will have a different fighting style and different spells now that because he only has one page? I mean, we don't even know he can fight. Like, what is the one spell he can use? Borolo Desperado Dragon is pretty much Red Nova Dragon. I mean, yeah, I guess it would really depend on like what effects you would want. What would be like? Is just gonna be like big dick energy? Some like, oh yeah, I'm sorry. Some big colossal like beat stick? Is it gonna be some like big heavy hitter field wiper? Actually, a field nuke version would be really cool. You know, he just shows up and maybe it's like, flip. Does it be a desperado? I don't know. Flip 3 coins. Destroy 1 card on your field for each each tails it lands on, and 1 for each tails whatever. Tails your opponent, heads you, and maybe like this card can't be destroyed by card effects, or I don't know, something. Give it something really neat to it. If it wasn't for the fire spirit, Nozel would be stronger. I mean, there was no implication that Nozel ever became more powerful than he ever was. They always seemed equal. But Fuego Leon has the fire spirit, so what does Nozel have? Nothing in comparison. I mean, I agree that Noel and Nozel passing notes would have been exciting, as exciting as Glam World, but I'm not going to ignore the notes as a viable option. I mean, again, but then you're putting out the possibility of them either saying something out loud or, the sheer lack of like potential communication you're gonna have, the much less of a display of what's going on for both like a reader standpoint or even the character standpoint. It would just be kind of silly. I think it would be kind of silly personally. If Austin fought Sting and Rogue at the Grand Magic Games, would they win? Let me think. That'd be kind of hard. Obviously, Asa, anti-magic. Doesn't have anything kind of dangerous to put in there other than just, being fast and, he's got some good spells. Sting, the thing is that it would really hurt Asta is Sting does have some pretty good AoE and homing attacks. So if Asta doesn't... Asta obviously can cut spells and mess with magic, but he can't deal with like large scale AoE attacks the same way. Like when we saw like the beam that Vito used against him, he was able to cut it, but part of it still hurt him. Part of it still hurt him that went by. It would be kind of hard because also if they body locked him with the White Dragon's seal, cuts off their movement and then just disarms him, it's gonna be really hard. That one's kind of like rough because obviously Sting and Rogue also have really good synergy, I would say, if not more than Austin, because they actually have like combinational attacks and moves that integrate into each other. Whereas Austin, they got anti-magic on their side, which is obviously really useful in this scenario. Let me think. I don't know, I feel it being pretty even, at least for that version. Like, if you put up the Tartarus version as Sting and Rogue, I'd be like, yeah, Sting and Rogue are going to run these guys down. But I think Austin, would probably take out more chances than not for that version, just because of the, anti-magic sword. Those versions of Sting and Rogue, though, were strong. They're not even like, they're not so far out of Austin, range that it's impossible. The anti-magic sword is obviously pretty good. Well, the thing that would hurt Asta a lot is the fact that Sting and Rogue are both like very trained in hand-to-hand combat, so all it would take is for Asta to get outmaneuvered and, one of them to get in close and then roar right in his face and he's going to get fucked. I don't know. Actually, I'm going to say about even for that version. Tarver, Sting, and Rogue run through him. I would have him use different effects based on the summoning method Desperado banishes. Yeah, something like that. Banishing would be pretty cool. If Austin, fought... Oh, you read that one. I argue that Cyber's Clock Dragon is one of Playmaker's best monsters. I mean, I wanted a Link 6 though, man. I wanted a Link 6. Fuego Leon Spirit Dive is gonna be crazy. I agree on that. Ro versus Ladros. I'd go with Rill. I feel like his is just an all around like better run out. Oh, Yu-Gi-Oh! I run Dragon and Dinos. Which Dragon deck? Zencro versus Fuego Leon. Fuego Leon. Zencro is cool, but like Zencro is a little bit overhyped. But I think it's just because he's got a really cool design. He had a cool magic. I mean, he wasn't even like a mid boss for that arc. Like he was pretty. Like he wasn't even in like the upper members of the of Grimoire Heart. Like well, obviously he was upper members, but out of the ones that were important, Seven Kin, Blue Note, and Hades, obviously. But I would say he's like in the lower areas of those 9 characters. As silly as you might think, it's still a viable option. I mean, why don't they play Pictionary then? Why don't they play Pictionary? Why doesn't he? Why doesn't he do interpretive dance? Why doesn't he have paintings shown to her? You're putting out like really like weird stuff. Like, oh, what if he? What if he did sign language and told her? What if he taught her sign language and then just sign languaged it up to Noelle? Yu is gonna be on a journey to deal with Yuzu and his friends to help them and their counterparts' bodies back. Was that at the end of I gotta rewatch the last couple episodes of Arc 5, like I said. Like, I don't remember them. I didn't like the ending to Zexel. I really didn't. That one I remember not liking. Nozel versus Jack. Probably Jack, to be perfectly honest. I feel like it'd be Jack because Jack's swords would completely cut out any weirdness of the Mercury blades or the Mercury magic. I feel like he's just like in general a good counter to someone like him who's more control based. Obviously, something you get like the Silver Star of Execution that big movie used on Dark Licht or Dark Patry, but what's that really gonna do? Because okay, cool, I adapt to it. Your confining ability is not gonna matter shit to me. I feel like he's a pretty good counter to someone like Nozel, personally, from what I can tell, just from like the way that their magics really kind of like run together. Hmm. Blue Eyes and Red Eyes decks are mixed. I really like the Red Eyes and Blue Eyes decks are classic. They're really solid. Red Eyes need more support though, for sure. How would Mara Leona do in the 100 Monsters Challenge in the Grand Magic Games compared to Ursa? I think she'd do about the same. I mean, she'd do pretty good, if not maybe a little bit better. Like, obviously, the gaps between like Black Clover, like the captains and characters like her that are like Mara Leona, is they're much higher than what like a lot of the characters we were at the Grand Magic Games because they were they're kind of like the Wizard Saints of Black Clover, and we were only just getting characters into like truly this Wizard Saint level at that arc. Like that was the time like Urza for sure was at level with a Wizard Saint because before then we know like in the Tower of Heaven she was around that level. She was like around this Wizard Saint level because of stuff with like Jalal, but here we have her like legitimately doing some Wizard Saint level stuff. So I was able to push her up, whereas Marileona was already there. And you start jumping into the Tartarus stuff, and things start to change because there's a pretty reasonable or not reasonable. There's a pretty noticeable gap in like power between those two. Dude, you're strong manning. No, I'm not. I'm pointing out the fact that you're saying, hey, why wouldn't he just write notes to her instead of like do this much better, much more like laid out, straightforward, and much easier to explain method. That's silly. Why doesn't he just do sign language? Again, why doesn't he just do sign language? Why doesn't he use this Mercury to put on like a puppet show? It's silly. If you want to say, oh, him writing notes to her is an option, then any form of nonverbal communication is an option. Versus, hey, pocket dimension. Whereas you can talk about it and it's not an issue, but also you can show straight visuals because of the magic the person that's using it. That's silly. I don't know how the captains are gonna become stronger because I think that their fighting styles are complete. Well, no, they still have spells to unlock. We saw that with like Yami. Yami displayed that perfectly in the Water Temple arc. The captains still have room to grow. They still have spells in their books they haven't unlocked. They get magic tools. They can get like Yami just learned like not even fully. We just saw him grasp Mana Zone. So like Mana Zone is in there. Any other magic abilities that they haven't fully grasped yet. Maybe further levels of magic sensing. Again, tools, maybe more spirits. We don't know how many spirits there are. We know there's 4 great spirits, but like how many standard spirits are there? Are there like 10 normal fire spirits, or they're 10 normal water spirits, or whatever. Or they're like irregulars, they're a dark spirit, like for Yami, who knows? All the captains versus Naruto and Sasuke pre six paths. Oh, the captains are gonna overrun them. Like pre six paths, the captains are gonna overrun the hell out of them. Well, yeah, because Naruto and Sasuke obviously have firepower, but you're dealing with a large scale array of hacks between all the captains, and like Dorothy in general, like Dorothy is dangerous in general. Anytime she's awake and she's a threat. I mean that's just right there, because she not only has like a really crazy magic, but she can trap you in a pocket dimension while doing it. I mean that's pretty rough to do. Uh, let's see. Do you think Asta can take out Class 1A by himself? Yes, Asta absolutely can. That's such a like anybody who thinks that My Hero Academia really is gonna do like in this situation for these ones. It probably doesn't read Black Clover, because obviously like My Hero Academia is more popular, but Black Clover, like if you're talking about power levels, then it doesn't come down to popularity or opinion. It's just straightforward, and they're not gonna like stand a chance in comparison to someone like how powerful the captains are. One second. That's right. I always get distracted by random messages. One always catches my eye, and then I completely like blink out. Whatever happened to that old wizard dude in chapter 1 who gave all the kids their grimoires? Well, wasn't he just like some tower keeper who kept watch on the books? Was it ever said if he was powerful or not? I don't think I remember anything like that. But I mean, I don't know. Is he just some like old wise man? I mean, that's a good point though. We have no information on him. He could be. Maybe. What if he was like a retired Wizard King or Magic Emperor? Like, imagine that. There's some retired dude that Well, I mean, then it'd be like, well, why did he do it? Well, we can't say like why didn't do anything during the Elf Resurrection. We didn't see it from all sides. How are you liking Code Vein? I'm enjoying it. I'm gonna play more after this stream. Probably go a little bit longer, and then and then switch and play the game. If Laxus fought Erastil on Sace instead of Jalal at Tartarus, how would he do? I think he would still come out on top, but I don't think it would. I think it would have been harder, because I'm part of the firm belief that Jalal is stronger than Laxus. I legitimately do think that Jalal is stronger than Laxus. A form of non-duplication is an option. Yeah, I didn't say you couldn't possibly do it. I'd say, why would you do it? Why would you go for a far less effective, far less open space, far less flexible and operable way to do it than something that's like silly as this? And again, I'm talking about earlier when they were children, and you're saying about when they were children, but if you're saying like, oh yeah, as adults, well, when is he gonna do it? Why is he gonna start talking about demons for no reason? Why is he just gonna start being for absolutely out of nowhere, especially prior to this, prior to any crazy stuff with demons? Why is he gonna start randomly spreading like words about demons around? Why would he want to tell them at that point? Now it's like you already know about demons. You already know about the effects of them. You already know about stuff about the curses. We already know that Noelle is straight going to leave the country soon due to instances from this demon. Why would he, before this arc, randomly be like, hey, I want to tell you about the demon that killed Mom? Like, why would he do that? What would be the purpose? What would be the context or reasoning behind him for no reason doing it? Why would if he had it now? Why would he be like, well, I guess I'll go for a far less effective, far less useful method than the best option available? And you can't say Dorothy's perma sleeping. I mean, she's not, because she's out working. He knows that she's out working. She's actually doing stuff right now. It's between notes in the glamour world. She's glamour world, but it doesn't somehow negate that they should have known earlier. Why would they know earlier before the events with the demons happened? You're just telling someone something for no reason other than just saying, hey, I know something. Not like, hey, I know the context of this information of why you're finding out now exists, but why would you tell them beforehand? Why would you go ahead and just be like, before the layout of everything that happens with demons, just be like, for no reason at all, I'm just going to tell you this. Why? It's stupid. It would completely it would not make sense to the flow of the story. It would not make sense to the character. It would not make sense to the tone of what's going on. It would literally just be, hey, let me tell you this against all character, all setting, all aspects of who I am, and just do it for the sake of doing it. No. And he's clearly only going into it now because literally Noel's about to leave the country because of events that just happened in their country from a crazy demon doing a bunch of wild stuff, and now Noelle is leaving. She has to leave, and she's finding out stuff now, and they're literally going to go investigate stuff with curses and stuff with the other world. It's silly. Tartarus Rascon stays with Zero versus Merleona. Well, then Merleona's getting washed at that point. All it's going to take is Genesis Zero, and she's done. It's completely over at that point. What difference between now and the beginning of the series makes you think Noelle wouldn't blurt out the information? Why would he tell her at the start of the series? What would be the point? Well, what reason would he be like, hey, let me tell you about Mom and Demons right now? Why? Why would he tell her that? Why would he tell her that? That's completely ridiculous. The only reason that he's going into anything right now is because of recent events in the story. Why if you have fairy tale, why didn't Anna just show up and be like, hey, just so you guys know, all this information, all this stuff that is completely unrelated to what you would know or do now, but, way further down the line it'll make sense at some point. No. You're pulling the question of why did this character, who's only doing it in this instance because of events that just happened, do this when the events didn't happen and they had no way relating to it in the story. There was no way for it to really hold relevance. It's silly. Pre-Spirit Dive Uno versus Aragorn. See, the thing is with that is Aragorn, as a lot of people would probably put him as, back in the original arc with him in the Lullaby. But the story Sky Arc is canon, and he was Arasion Sace level at the time. Pre-Spirit Dive, I would say Aragorn would beat him. Elf Spirit Dive, I'd say would win, but not just normal, I don't say that. I get frustrated about stuff like that, Joshua Light. I'm not, breaking stuff and screaming, but, I get frustrated when people are, bringing up stuff that doesn't make sense, and you're trying to argue something that should be very easily discernible from the layout of the story. I'm okay, though. Don't worry about it. Good stuff, though. What if Mars and Ladros join the Black Bulls? I mean, after this, they're gonna have to stay in their country because they gotta fix the country somehow. They can't just be like, hey, we overthrew the guy in charge, we're gonna leave now and go join a different country and go mess around with the Black Bulls. Why? You're probably not doing the best opportunity there. But it's possible. Things are possible, but I doubt it's gonna happen. Black Asta versus normal Spirit Dive, post-elf arc. They're pretty much even. I'm probably going to go with Asta because Asta's the one that has much more close combat fighting, and once he gets in for that's really going to hurt him. And obviously, Yuno's got Spirit of Zephyr, but what's that really going to do against the Black Divider? Nothing. Alright, so. Jason Keeper's shown up just in time. How's it going, man? Nothing much, just talking about series and stuff. We're going through Streamlabs today. It's just Streamlabs. It's not against normal stuff. I have all my widgets set up. If anybody wants to throw me $1, anybody wants to... Actually, I need to fix my Patreon. I just want to have the $1 tier. I don't know why I have 2 other tiers. I don't really have anything outside of what I already do to give back to patrons. I don't really know why I made a Patreon. I'll fix that at some point. But, I don't know. Anybody wants to throw me $1? I got that fun widget set up. One day it'll go off. One day. Other than that, pretty much just been running down stuff, arguing about anime stuff. I wouldn't really call it a fight. It's really just kind of heated nerd debates. Outside of that, it's not like anybody's like, I hate you! Oh, you suck! It's just oh, okay, whatever. 5 seconds later, the conversation's already pretty much quelled down. Anyway. And can anyone tell me why someone should know how their parents died? Again, what's the reason for it? Is it just they died? Oh no, it's some super crazy, weird, other dimensional demonic contract, other dimension creature that if somehow someone talks about it, they get cursed and they will be, dying from the same volition. Again, time, place, reason. Why is he talking about it right now? Oh, because of everything that just happened. Only because, they know about these things now that he's going to talk about it. Before these things, he wouldn't have the reason for that. He would not have a reason to divulge the information that he's obviously been keeping secret to keep his family safe. Noelle versus, the Gravity Girl, Myra Active. Noelle would one-shot her. I feel like Rio will probably get a matchup with Skullion since they did get an actual fight against the Thunder Legion. That was a stomp. Gray has a long-going classic of losing to someone the first time and then winning turnaround. It would be cool if Gray did that and then lost again. And then, the third time, like, Gray just says, screw this, and goes, like, heavy demon. He goes into demon force or whatever, devil force, like, whatever he wants to call it. Pre-Elf Arc Black Asta versus Phantom Lord Argajo. Asta's gonna kill his ass. Yato? Who's Yato? Firewall Dragon versus Utopia. Is it just straight up? Because straight up, like, they're gonna just destroy each other. I mean, it depends on what cards you have. I mean, doesn't like Yuma Yuma like regularly ran with like double or nothing, so you have to come out with a 5K beater with that boy. Yusako and I versus Zark. Probably Zark. Zark's got some ridiculous cards. All his violent dragons and shit. Like, he had a lot of crazy stuff just rolling around into the scene of things. Yeah, dude was a little bit wild. I don't know. Anyway, I think I'm going to call it good for this stream. We're going for a little over an hour and a half. Things have been pretty nice. Probably going to play some Code Vein. Who do you think is stronger, duelist, Jaden or Yusei? I mean, they're both pretty equal. I still think they're some of the best ones. Dude, by your logic, Nozel should be sending Damnatio to Dorothy to learn about Megiki. Yeah, but he doesn't believe them. That's the thing. He doesn't believe anything that they've said. Damnatio does not believe them. Again, he does not believe anything they've said. They've already told him. And here you have Dorothy who can just make stuff in a world. He's just going to assume that she's making stuff up too. Why would you bring Damnatio into it? Again, he wants physical proof. He doesn't want people saying words. Noelle, on the other hand, is going to believe them because she trusts someone like Dorothy. She trusts someone like Nozel. She trusts this that's already going on. It's silly at this point. You might as well just say, why don't we have every single character reveal every single story aspect that they know of at the very first chapter just because? If you've got a secret, if your character has a secret that they don't want to tell people, why would you say, why didn't he just tell them all along? Why? We know he's been keeping it a secret for a reason. Why would he just tell them for no reason? Why? Why would he do that? What would be the point of him just saying, hey, I know I've been keeping this a secret all my life, but how about I tell you guys? For no, real, unappointed reason. He's only telling them now because of events that just happened, literally with the demon, literally while his sister and her order are getting kicked out. Come on. It's ridiculous. We don't know why Dorothy knows. We just got into the story. Maybe she knows because Nozel told her. I'm sure we'll find out. Maybe she's some spec op person. Who the fuck knows? We know nothing. We know literally nothing about Dorothy's backstory. We know very little about her character. We just know she likes to sleep, and then when she's awake, she's very energetic. Do you think we'll see Guildarts this arc? I still have the belief that Guildarts is going to die during 100 Years Quest. I think, out of everybody in the guild, I think Guildarts has the highest level of use. Not really use. Highest level of impact if he died. Celestial Spirit King versus Tartarus Urza. Oh, Celestial Spirit King would hands on Urza. He would, that version of Urza, the Celestial Spirit King would swing his sword and, take him out. Jaden's fusions are OP. I mean, yeah, you got cool stuff like Rainbow Dios. That dude's broken as hell. I remember when the hentai to see where... wait, what? I've seen that enough hentai to see where that goes. Oh, that's a weird one. Anyway, I'm going to end this stream here. Celestial Spirit King versus Logia. I don't even feel like I need to answer that question. I feel like it's obvious. But anyway, yeah, I'm going to call it good for this stream. At the same time next week, Rainbow Dragon versus Logia. Again, Logia is going to murder Rainbow Dragon. Yeah, we'll be back next week, same time, same Sunday. I appreciate everyone for showing up today, everyone for coming out, saying hi, and coming to chit-chat. Look forward to finding out more about this by the next stream we get up. we will be, talking about Magicula. I'm gonna plan up a group stream with a couple other Black Clover YouTubers within the next week or two. I originally planned to do this weekend, but I was a little bit too busy. So maybe I'm gonna probably go a week. Wait, one second. Let me check my calendar real quick. I think 2 weeks from now is like the 14th or something. 13th, probably like on the weekend of the 13th. It's probably like the 12th or the 13th. We'll have a little Black Clover stream, and we'll talk about it. Black Clover specific, so it'll be big open day for stuff. Well, appreciate everyone for showing up, and until next time, bye.